Well, we got a banger for you today, folks. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Bob Bradford. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to check us out. Appreciate your support. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing right down below. And if you're checking out our channel for the first time, I want to say thank you. Hopefully you like the content we're putting out, and hopefully we can earn your subscription. So today, we're going to talk a little bit about the 1960s. We've talked about Elvis in previous videos. We did some, music reactions to Jason Aldean. We did Chris Stapleton. We did Elvis. And today we're going to go back to the 60s again. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the British invasion, and that being the Beatles. So for those of you who are old enough to even know who the Beatles are, obviously you know the impact that they left on the world and here in America. But like Elvis, there was the top solo artist at the time, and then there was the top group at the time. So the top solo artist obviously was Elvis Presley. He was the king of rock and roll. But then you have these four British guys from Liverpool, England, who are now going to make their mark on the United States. So when do they make their grand hurrah? Well, they make the grand hurrah, televised at least, on the Ed Sullivan Show back on February 9th of 1964. So we're going to react to I Want to Hold Your Hand by the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show back in 1964. So without further ado, we're going to get right into it.
Tell you something, I think you'll understand when I say that something. I wanna hold your hand.
Love the hairdos.
I wanna hold your hand.
It's funny because you hear all the girls screaming in the background. I can't remember the last time that even here in the United States, where people have been head over heels for an artist like Elvis or the Beatles or the Rolling Stones. I don't think, obviously we have a lot of artists who garner a lot of attention, who are popular today, but none of them really leave a cultural mark. You can name a handful. But that being said, there are a lot of bands and groups and solo artists back in, the 1950s, 60s, and even the 70s, where they've really left their mark on the culture, and the Beatles are definitely one of them.
Oh, please, say to me, you let me be your man. And please, say to me,
And this was edgy for 1964.
let me hold your hand. You let me hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand.
Such a basic song.
When I touch you, I feel happy inside. And you got that something.
They're all dressed the same.
I think you'll understand.
You don't see that today.
When I say that something, I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand.
Wow. That's awesome. So I do the Beatles, I do Elvis, because these were bands that my parents who adored as they were growing up. My dad was born in 1950, so he was 14 when the British invasion of the Beatles occurred. My mom was born in 55. So she was a huge Elvis fan. So listening to these different groups bring me back as a child listening at home when my parents would play the records on Sunday morning. After church, we would come home, we would hang out. My parents would play the records at home. And I remember there was always a debate in my house. Who was better, Elvis or the Beatles? And my mom and dad would always go back and forth about it. But we can like them both. I do like them both. They're very different talents. Anyway, want to know what you all think. Who's your favorite, Elvis or the Beatles, or does it not matter to you? Or who is your favorite band during that period? Let me know down below. If you like this type of content, please consider subscribing. We appreciate you. Otherwise, we shall see you all in the next one.